Around 6:30 p.m. on November 13, 1974, 23-year-old Ronald Joseph DeFeo Jr. entered Henry's bar in Amityville, Long Island, New York, and declared, "You got to help me, I think my mother and father are shot." DeFeo and a small group of people went to 112 Ocean Avenue, which was located near the bar, and found that DeFeo's parents were dead inside the house. One of the group, DeFeo's friend Joe Yeswit, made an emergency call to the Suffolk County Police Department, who searched the house and found that 6 members of the family were dead in their beds. The victims were Ronald Jr.'s parents, Ronald DeFeo Sr. aged 43, and Louise DeFeo née Briganti 43, and his 4 siblings, 18-year-old Dawn, Allison 13, Mark 12, and John Matthew aged 9. All of the victims had been shot with a .35 caliber lever-action Marlin 336C rifle around 3 o'clock in the morning of that day. The DeFeo parents had both been shot twice, while the children had all been killed with single shots. Physical evidence suggests that Louise DeFeo and her daughter Allison were both awake at the time of their deaths. According to Suffolk County Police, the victims were all found lying face down in bed. The DeFeo family had occupied 112 Ocean Avenue since purchasing it in 1965. The 6 victims were later buried in nearby St. Charles Cemetery in Farmingdale. Ronald DeFeo Jr., also known as Butch, was the eldest son of the family and its lone surviving member. He was taken to the local police station for his own protection, after suggesting to police officers at the scene of the crime that the killings had been carried out by a mob hitman, Louis Fallini. However, an interview at the station soon exposed serious inconsistencies in his version of events. The following day, he confessed to carrying out the killings himself, and Fallini, the alleged hitman, had an alibi proving he was out of state at the time of the killings. DeFeo told detectives, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop, it went so fast." He admitted that he had taken a bath and redressed, and detailed where he had discarded crucial evidence such as blood-stained clothes and the Marlin rifle and cartridges before going to work as usual. DeFeo's trial began on October 14, 1975. He and his defense lawyer William Weber mounted an affirmative defense of insanity, with DeFeo claiming that he killed his family in self-defense because he heard their voices plotting against him. The insanity plea was supported by the psychiatrist for the defense Daniel Schwartz. The psychiatrist for the prosecution, Dr. Harold Zolan, maintained that although DeFeo was a user of heroin and LSD, he had antisocial personality disorder and was aware of his actions at the time of the crime. On November 21, 1975, DeFeo was found guilty on 6 counts of second-degree murder. On December 4, 1975, Judge Thomas Stark sentenced DeFeo to 6 sentences of 25 years to life. DeFeo was held at the Sullivan Correctional Facility in the town of Fallsburg, New York, and until his death all of his appeals and requests to the parole board had been denied. DeFeo died aged 69 on March 12, 2021, at the Albany Medical Center. Official cause of death is yet to be determined. In December 1975, George and Kathleen Lutz bought the house of the murders, for what was considered to be a bargain price of $80,000. The 5-bedroom house was built in Dutch colonial style, and had a distinctive gambrel roof. It also had a swimming pool and a boathouse, as it was located on a canal. Kathy had 3 children from a previous marriage, Daniel aged 9, Christopher 7, and Melissa aged 5. They also owned a crossbreed Malamute Labrador dog named Harry. During their first inspection of the house, the real estate broker told them about the DeFeo murders and asked if this would affect their decision. After discussing the matter, they decided that it was not a problem. The Lutz family moved in December 18, 1975. Much of the DeFeo family's furniture was still in the house, because it was included for $400 as part of the deal. A friend of George Lutz learned about the history of the house and insisted on having it blessed. George knew a Catholic priest, who agreed to carry out the house blessing. Father Mancuso was a lawyer, judge of the Catholic court and psychotherapist who lived at the local Sacred Heart Rectory. He arrived to perform the blessing while George and Kathy were unpacking their belongings on the afternoon of December 18, 1975, and went into the building to carry out the rites. When he flicked the first holy water and began to pray, he heard a masculine voice demand that he get out. When leaving the house, Father Mancuso did not mention this incident to either George or Kathy. On December 24, 1975, Father Mancuso called George Lutz and advised him to stay out of the second-floor room where he had heard the mysterious voice in the former bedroom of Mark and John Matthew DeFeo, but the call was cut short by static. Following his visit to the house, Father Mancuso allegedly developed a high fever and blisters on his hands similar to stigmata. At first George and Kathy experienced nothing unusual in the house. Talking about their experiences subsequently, they reported that it was as if they were each living in a different house. By mid-January 1976, after another attempt at a house blessing by George and Kathy, they experienced what would turn out to be their final night in the house. The Lutzes declined to give a full account of the events that took place on this occasion, describing them as too frightening. After getting in touch with Father Mancuso, the Lutzes decided to take some belongings and stay at Kathy's mother's house in nearby Deer Park, New York, until they had sorted out the problems with the house. They claimed that the phenomena followed them there, describing greenish-black slime coming up the staircase towards them. On January 14, 1976, George and Kathy Lutz with their 3 children and their dog Harry, left 112 Ocean Avenue leaving all of their possessions behind. The next day, a mover arrived to remove the possessions to send to the Lutzes. He reported no paranormal phenomena while inside the house. According to the Realtor Estate Agency, the house, which was built in 1925, has been on the market 4 times and was sold in March 2017 for $605,000. The home's original address was 112 Ocean Avenue, but was later changed to 108 to deter tourists. Thanks for watching. For more videos, please click like and subscribe.